So here's what we're talking about today. Talking about death and dying and transitions in communication with animals and the extraordinary life-changing wisdom that animals have for us. And my guest today is Gina Triay. She is the owner. She's the owner of Tall Tales Pet Sitting Services in southern part of Louisiana, the United States. She's been nominated as one of the top 5 best pet sitters nationwide by Pet Sitters International. And Gina and I know each other because she's one of my animal communication students. And she's been a student of mine for a while, and she's a gold member in the Animal Talk Coaching Club, which is a wonderful group, loving community of students around the world, communicating with animals, sharing what we've learned, and growing our intuitive abilities, being the voice for animals, and all of that good stuff. So recently, she lost her beagle, Snoopy dog. She lost Snoopy. And during the process, she experienced an extraordinary communication with him. It transformed her understanding of death and dying and transitions. And today we want to talk about that because I know that every animal lover goes through loss. We all lose our pets at some point, you know, and many of us grieve their loss longer than we grieve the loss of humans in our life, family and friends. Yeah. So yeah, it's distraught. So we want to share with you what we've learned. Gina's going to tell you what she learned, and we're hoping this will help you when you lose a pet or if you're already grieving the loss of a pet. So Gina, welcome.
Thank you.
I'm so excited you're here. So
yes, thank you so much for asking me.
Yeah, first question. What made you decide you wanted to learn how to communicate with animals?
The first thing that I thought of was when I was a little girl, I was 11 years old, and my family parrot flew out the front door, and we could not find him. We could hear him making noise, could not find him, and I was devastated. And all my life, I just thought it's just so horrifying to not know. It'd be one thing if you found your pet and they were dead or something, you could get closure. But when you don't know, it just makes you crazy. Like, are they okay? You know? And so that's kind of what motivated me, because I thought if I could help people who have lost pets, you know, they got out of the gate and you can maybe communicate with them and connect with them, and that would be so awesome. And in addition to the dying process, because it's like, are you okay? Where are you? You know, it's like if you could just peek through the cloudy curtains of heaven and just look around real quick and go, okay, you're good? Okay, good. Now I can relax.
I love that. And you know, we could actually do that, which we can through communication. Yeah.
Right.
But when we do that, everything changes. It's like we can breathe again. We can relax. We can complete our grieving. We have some completion and closure. We can feel peace, you know, relieved. We can go ahead and let them go with our blessing and our love. And we know we're still connected.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you. Brilliant. Woo. So, has this helped? Has learning communication helped?
A big help. Yes. All kinds of techniques. If you guys are interested in learning how to do animal communication, you got to get on Val's program. She's got a wealth of information in there. So yeah, that's kind of where I got started, learning how to do some settling down of my mind. My brain has a tendency to be like a squirrel in a cage. Makes it kind of hard to communicate, but she's taught all kinds of techniques on how to do that. So yeah.
Brilliant. You're wonderful, Swig, and I'm delighted to know you and to connect with you and to support you in your mission and your vision here in the world. So let's talk about Snoopy.
Okay.
So give us some backstory on Snoopy so everyone who doesn't know the story can catch up.
Okay. So my cat keeps getting in the way. Okay. So Snoopy was a foster. I took him in about 4.5 years ago. And when I took him in, the lady was like, look, he's got heartworms. He's probably not going to make it very long, maybe a few weeks. He's got it pretty bad. Well, that turned into 4.5 years. And throughout that 4.5 years, he's had all kinds of medical things. He's had skin infections. He's had ear infections, you know, but he's always had this kind of a low-lying cough. And that cough just got worse and worse and worse. And towards the end, it was to the point where he was on 2 different inhalers, 2 different liquid steroids, and pills 3 times a day. And still coughing. That was just to keep him, you know, just at a low-lying, and I was just like, oh, you know, and it was torture for me because I kept thinking to myself, you know, as I talked to this dog, why do you keep staying here? Like, it's okay if you're miserable and suffering, it's okay, you can go. But this went on for a year and a half, and I just couldn't understand it. So what happened was, on the night before he passed away, he didn't eat, which was, you know, you have certain dogs, if they don't eat, you know something's wrong. He was one of those dogs. He doesn't eat, something's wrong. And he was doing this. He had gone from coughing to suddenly poking his head out and just kind of sitting there. And I was like, uh-oh, something's wrong. And so I laid down on the floor with him that night and just kind of sat there and talked to him and said, look, if you're ready to go, it's okay. I'm gonna be all right. You can do this. And I went and laid back down in bed. And a couple hours later, I can hear him walking around, just his nails clacking on the floor. A lot of walking. I'm like, what? He's restless. What's going on? So I got up with him again. And he was leaning up against the wall in the bedroom. And I sat there and I talked to him again. I went back and got into bed. And I heard him walk out of the bedroom and into the living room. And I fell back asleep. I woke up at 5:30 and I didn't hear anything. And I knew. And I just laid in bed. I'm like, I'm not going to bother to get up right this second. Let me just sit with this for a moment, because I'm pretty sure when I get up, he's going to be gone. And he was. He went, and it's really interesting because he went to the front door and laid on the mat. He never goes to the front door. And he had passed away. So I think a few days after that, we were having our Q&A with your course. And one of the questions that I had was, I just want to know, I didn't have to know, but I was just kind of mildly curious. What's the deal, Snoopy? Why did you stick this out for so long, so miserable? You know, and the answer wasn't really coming at first, asking that question. But then one day I was driving home. See, I get a lot of my answers when I'm driving, because that's when I can kind of get into that zone. I had a good hour's drive home. And I was just kind of pondering the thoughts. And all of a sudden, this entire process was laid out before me. And during the Q&A, I remember you saying to me, because I asked you, ask Snoopy why. And all you said to me was, all I'm getting is he's telling me it's a process. Well, I didn't really know what to do with that. So when I was coming home, I got the process. I'm like, oh, that's what that meant. And so what happened was, basically, I was shown an image of people sitting down to a meal. Okay. Now, you know, some people will sit down to a meal and they will eat their food really, really fast. And some people are like real slow. They want to savor every single bite. Neither one of them is right or wrong. Neither one of them is good or bad. It's merely a style of preference. And so what he was showing me was that death and birth is no different than that. How do you want to do it? You know, some people, when they go on vacation, zoom down the street to get to that, vacation location, but they don't want to stop and see all the neat things in between. It's not good, bad, right, or wrong. It's just different. It doesn't mean that you're doing it wrong. And so the conclusion that I came to was Snoopy was having a death experience. He wanted to see and feel in his physical body, what does it feel like for the body to start to deteriorate? And we as humans have a tendency to associate negativity with death and, you know, pain and being uncomfortable. And we go, oh, God, that's awful. It's awful. How could you want to do that? But we can't assign that to every single living creature on the planet. Sometimes they want to have that experience. What's it feel like to do that? You know, to them, it's not what we think it is. And so, and I kind of likened it also to, I remember being a little girl and being in the swimming pool with my friends, and there was a hot tub nearby, and we would get out of the swimming pool with our skin all cold and jump into the hot tub, right? And the skin get all hot, and we'd get out and we'd jump into the pool. We'd be like, oh, we'd be giggling and laughing because it was like, oh, it felt weird on our skin with that temperature exchange. And he showed me that too. And he was saying to me that the spirit loves the physical sensation of going in and out of a body. They just love it. And so, and then shortly thereafter, I saw this vision of a circle, okay, like this. And really, birth and death are practically touching on that circle. Everything else in between is playtime. That's when you're doing life, however you choose to do it. But once you die, you know, death and birth, it's just, they're one and the same, basically. One's going in, one's going out. It's the same thing. Same thing why some babies are born and it takes them forever to come into this world. They're having the birth experience, you know. And so that's kind of what I came up with that. And recently, too, I also came up with another analogy after we had that conversation where I imagined like imagine a puppet show, right? You've got all these little puppets sitting there, all just laying there, just piles of fabric. And once the spirit jumps in, whoop, the strings get pulled up, right? Ding, 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 ding. The spirit jumps out, death, puppets go, whoop, they drop back down. It's really no more complicated than that.
Brilliant analogy. That just makes me smile. Exactly so. Exactly so. Okay, keep going.
Okay, so and the last analogy that was given to me, he gave me one analogy behind another, so it's like you really could not miss this point.
No.
And I'm sure most people that are listening or watching have seen, like on National Geographic, these videos when they show a flower coming up out of the ground, and then it blooms, and then it slowly withers and it drops to the ground. We don't freak out and start going, oh my God, it died. You know, we don't do that. Some of us might. Depends on how long you wait for the flower to bloom, I suppose. You know, but I mean, it's we appreciate that birth. Yes. Goes back down, and then it recycles and it does it again. We accept that for what it is, but for some reason, when we do it as, you know, humans or animals, we assign this god awful thing to it, you know. So that's pretty much all that was given to me, and so it just makes it much easier for me, especially since this particular year in my business we have lost 26 pets, which is an awful lot. Yes. Yeah, usually it's around 10 or 12. We've doubled it. And so it makes it a little easier for me to, okay, breathe, you know, because basically I'm losing a pet twice a month. Right. So.
It's interesting. It's almost like the universe is gifting you with an intensive in what this process is all about. And you're getting to witness how many different creatures choose to do it.
Right.
You know? And some of them pop out immediately. Others take a little more time, and others go to a point and then they say, I'd like a little help here. I don't think I want to finish this. You know, I'd like to, you know, I call it death with dignity. You know, it's a compassionate decision to, with their approval, with their invitation, to assist them, you know, in stepping out of the body. And when they step out of the body, the cord breaks, you know, that spiritual bungee cord that keeps us connected, it breaks. And then, like you said, the puppet goes, boom, and spirit flies free. And that's really the truth of it. And now that you know the truth of it, and you're so intimately connected to the experience and the process of it, you're not going to be blindsided by it like you have been probably, and most of us have experienced it. You know, it's like you're fully present through the process without all the negative baggage and the despair and the dread and the grief and all this. And you're still going to feel some of that stuff. It doesn't have to overwhelm you, especially with fear.
Right.
You know, and fear is, you know, no, you don't want to bring that into this experience. They have enough to deal with without us pushing all of our crap and baggage onto their experience, right?
Exactly. Like with me sitting there going, what's taking you so long to do this? And of course, after I realized, I was like,
I know, I kept telling you, I think you need to ask a different question, Gina.
Right. I was asking the wrong question.
And when you shifted it and shifted your question, look what you got.
A whole lot. Wow.
I know. You've been asking for a year and a half. Why are you taking so long? So, and all that other stuff. And it's like when you shifted the question, all of a sudden the world opened.
Yeah.
You know, I love it. So any of our watchers or viewers, if you have any questions or comments, type them into the comment box. We'd love to answer any questions you have. And show us some love. So, you know, show us a little bit of a love sign there. That'd be cool. We'd love to see it. And so far, I don't see any comments yet. But I really love this story, and I'm delighted, Gina, that you've gotten to share it. And I mean, look at the transformation in you. I'm so delighted. So well done.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Val.
You're welcome. All right, we just got a couple minutes left. Is there anything else you'd like to let people know or offer as a inspiration or encouragement?
Honestly, one thing I could say is if you have recently lost a pet, and you have questions, it's probably better to be in a place where you're not so hung up on getting an answer.
Yeah.
You know, ask the question lightly.
Yeah, and thank you, Margaret. I just wanted to say thank you.
Yeah, I see her up there.
Yeah, got her. All right, thanks, Annie. Okay, so sorry, do that again. I'm sorry.
Okay, so what I was basically saying is when you've lost a pet and you know you're just grieving and you have unanswered questions, or you just have some closure that you need to get to, I find that not hanging on to that quite so tightly, you're more likely to get what you're looking for. But when you're just in the state of desperation, you just have to know, you block the information. It's too intense. You know, you have to be flexible. And because think about it too, if you're not flexible, you may not be willing to hear something you weren't expecting to hear, if that makes any sense.
Yes.
You know, we get hung up on what we think we're going to hear, and then you can't hear what's really going to come.
Yes. Exactly. Yes, you can. Alyssa has a question. Let me show it to you. She says, what do you shift it to? Okay, so what do you shift what to, Alyssa? I'm not quite sure what you're asking. So shifting the pain or the dread or the fear, or shifting from spirit disguised as an animal or a being, a physical being, into a spiritual being. Give us a little more feedback on that, please, ma'am. Okay, so we'll wait for that. You know, I know I've been through so many deaths with clients, you know, and listening to them from a neutral witness observer place, you know, place of love, being fully present, makes all the difference in the world, you know, because then they can share their experience with us, you know. And okay. When you were telling her she should have shifted the question, what's taking so long? Oh, that's great. Good.
You want me to answer that?
Yes.
Okay. So Alyssa, originally what I was asking was, what was the purpose of you sticking around so long, feeling so miserable? That was the question that I was asking. And once I got the insight, I realized that he wasn't suffering. He wasn't miserable. He was having the death experience. So once I got all the information, I realized that the question, if I had asked it this way the first time, might have given me my answer sooner, but that's irrelevant. If I had asked him, share with me this illness that you're having. Share with me your perspective on this illness that you're experiencing. Then I could have gotten it. Yeah. So that's what the shift should have been. In other words, my question was geared towards some negative, you know, image of what was happening. And to him, it wasn't negative. He was just having a death experience. I put my own junk on top of it as a human, you know. Oh, it's awful. You can't breathe. You must be miserable. You know, maybe he wasn't.
Yeah. And you came from the assumption that he was dragging it out, that he was choosing something in a painful way, that it was your assumptions, not meeting him cleanly and squarely right where he was. Right. And asking him to share his experience. And that was the shift. Yes. Brilliant. We are out of time.
Okay.
So I want to thank everybody for coming. Thank you, Gina.
Thank you for asking me.
Yeah. So if anyone wants to learn how to communicate with animals, come to the Heart School and where do you go? Learn how to talk to animals.com. And hopefully we'll see you and join us in the coaching club. You can talk to us. We would love to have you. All right.
I'll see you on campus.
Tina. Okay. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, it's Val. I hope you enjoyed that and are now feeling really inspired. There's 3 things I want you to do next. 1, go tell your animals you love them right now. And 2, share this with your friends so they can enjoy it too. And the 3rd thing, really important, get your copy of my free ebook, Hidden Secrets to Communicating with Pets. Go to learnhowtotalktoanimals.com. You're going to love it. You'll learn 3 fundamental communication and connection principles that will help you understand and bond at a deeper level. And you're going to find out how to send a message to animals in 3 easy steps. It works with every animal, every time. This is good stuff. All right. See you there. Bye.